Thank you, everybody, for being here on a Wednesday. On a freaking Wednesday. Nevi, thank you so much for the raid. First timers, if you haven't done a request here before, you'll get bumped straight to the top. We're going to address some other lovely things here shortly, but first we are going to get to the gentleman Jay who is kicking us off on this Wednesday. Everybody, thank you for being here. Birds. Jay, holy cow, I absolutely adored that. Absolutely freaking adored that. Thank you so much, dude. Silver, Grapple, and then we've got Helkith staying up late, and Nevi bringing the raid. 2 first-timers right in a row coming up. I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm not taking any breaks yet. My gosh. Helkith, thank you for being here. Andy, thanks for convincing Helkith to be here. Jay, thank you for that. It's Wednesday, guys. First timers! A tricky one. slight break after that one. My goodness. Helketh. That was freaking great. Holy cow. Persona 5, first timer after the 5-year Strammiversary, and the first measure in that song is in 5. Followed by a 4, followed by a 5.
Lady Taters is here's ours.
Lady Potatoes, how the heck are you? Helketh. Turtle, you are Bay. Look at all these lovely folks here. My gosh. We had Nevi with the raid. Wombat969 with the follow. Jay gifting the sub to Nevi. Jay cheersing 100 little bits. We got a hype train going. Cushy's here. Another little bits. And then Deshauna gifting to Bumbledon. And a tier 2 hype train. Helketh is staying up late. It's Wednesday. Helketh, please stay as long as you can, but obviously, I know it's late where you are, but thank you so much for being here. My goodness. Tiber's here now, too. What's up, dude? Tashana, it's Wednesday. Roxy's here. So many lovely folks here. Holy crap, we're gonna... It's filling up fast, folks. Let me tell you what, Nevi... Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for bringing your crew. For those of you who don't know, I'm Narthex. I do this stuff that I've been doing for the past 15 minutes. And Nevi, I have a pretty good feeling that you're going to keep the first timers being the best timers streak alive. Drev, welcome in. We got Try, we got Tony, we got so many things, but we got Nevi right now. Thank you again for the raid. Helketh, thank you so much for that. Let's go!
where do you think you're going?
Is here, KB is here, and I hadn't said hello to Mouflon yet. Speaking of late boys. Boy, Nevi. Thank you so much. We haven't had that one in a little while. And what a freaking delight it is every time. Thank you for the kind words. My goodness. Thank you so much again for the raid. Thank you for being here. My gosh. Let's keep this momentum going because we got a whole bunch of awesome requests to get through. We got Doc, Randy, and Jamma. We got a mod block, y'all. What was that? 60 freaking months. Thank you so much, Doctor, and thank you, Jay, for the 60 little bits. Let's kick this mod block off proper with the Doctor.
Come on!
Llévame la barca quemada para abrir el camino que siempre estuvo ahí. Disuelve la sangre que brota de mí. Guarda los huesos de tus amigos. Hará
was coming. Yay! Doc, the credits song. What a pick. I forgot about that one because, yeah, it's not like on the official soundtrack. But it is. Dude. Doc, I loved that. Thank you so much. My goodness. Jay, thank you. There's some lore behind this one. I don't wear it very often, yeah. About 9 years ago, Mid-Century Meg and I were in Golden, Colorado, and there's this Mexican restaurant there, and they serve their tortilla chips in napkins, and cloth napkins. And Mid-Century Meg was like, I'm keeping that napkin. I've been back to that same Mexican restaurant several times since. It's so good. I can't remember the name of it, though. This would be a great place to plug the awesome Mexican restaurant in Golden, Colorado. Do not steal. Wow. I gotta do it. This might be a new record, kicking off the 6th year of Drams after only 36 minutes. We are full on that queue just to maybe leave some wiggle room later. But if I keep gabbing, we're not going to have it. Lady Potatoes, though, is a first-timer. Lady Potatoes, thank you so much for getting a request in. We are going to honor that request. And then we're going to get to Randy Sandals.
Taters, thank you for being here, sirs.
Lady Potatoes, 3 first-timers. 3, that's a 3 right there. 3. Thank you so much for being here. Trust me, I want that one too.
Holy shit!
Has it really been that long, Randy? Since we had it? That was almost the song I picked for the 5-year stream anniversary, but the other one just worked too well. Lady Potatoes, I hope you were here for that and didn't forget that we were going to bump you. Thank you so much for that. My gosh. Helgith already got the sleepies. Thanks so much for being here, Helgith. Andy, thanks so much for sticking around, dude. Oh, boy. Okay, just making sure. That would have been classic if it was just like, oh, okay. They're going to forget again. They're all going to forget. Thank you so much for that. My goodness, what an absolute all-timer of a song. Absolute all-timer. Sweet, sweet Corb. Thank you so much, Tilters. And thank you for your patience with our negligence. It's Randy time? Ah. Addicta. Thank you so much for the follow.
We'll be arriving on the other side of town in about 24 seconds.
Randy, so fun. So much freaking fun. Holy cow. Dubmood and Master Boot Record just setting the record for the most dubs mooted. My gosh. Randy, thank you for keeping me on my toes. We got Jamma to close out the mod block with a little Lady Taters in the middle there. Then Deshauna, then Moof, then Andy. We're getting to some late boys. In the meantime, it's Jamma time. Now.
I love you.
Right on. Addicta, thank you so much for the kind words, and I know that I have requests turned off, but I did that for a little bit of padding in case we had a first-timer. If you would like me to play a video game song for you, find that video game song in YouTube and bring it over here. But in the meantime...
Where do you think you're going?
Look, that is all Kentucky Shark, and he has been there.
What's up, adders? Aiders? Welcome in. one, Adders. Jamma. What a tune.
I'm a whole damn town! I'm a whole damn town!
My goodness. Jamma time, thank you so much for that. Absolute delight of a track. Aiders, I'm sorry if I'm definitely pronouncing it wrong one way, maybe both ways, but looks like you got it. Andy, thanks so much for stepping in and helping out. Sheriff Truman's face is what makes it. And then the next scene is him going into Cooper's office, and he just goes, "Don't ask." No, he doesn't even put his hand up. He just closes the door. "Don't ask." And they get right to it. Speaking of getting right to it, Adders, with a first-time request, and my gosh, I saw what it was going to be, and I am elated. First-timers are indeed the best timers. Jamma, thank you so much for that. Adders, thank you so much. First-timers, straight to the top. so much for the follow. And thank you so much for that. My gosh, hopes and dreams. I have so many hopes and dreams now. Banta is here. My gosh. Thank you so much for bringing the request. I do this typically on Thursday nights for any newcomers. Typically Thursday nights. And it's a real good time here, and we got a lot of really swell folks.
It's the Gang Fam! Jeff, Norvex. Jeff, Randy Sandals. Jeff, Pajama Torture. Jeff, Dr. Steal Your Face. Jeff, okay Potatoes. Jeff, Larissa, Jeff, McCoy. Jeff, Leflo, Jeff, Vigo. Jeff, Bumble, Jeff, Maura. Jeff, Gustavo, Jeff, Knuckle Busto. Jeff, Gentleman, Jeff, Jordan, Ray, Jeff, Turtle Wax, Jeff, Toast. Jeff, Teal, Jeff, Retro Runner. Jeff, Spiteful Frog. Jeff, Retro Foul. Jeff, Skeletor. Marley, Seabass. Jeff, Mouth. Jeff, Skunky. Jeff, Neko G. Jeff, Zaddy, Alisanya. There's only one place to be on Thursday nights, and you know where it is.
But Wednesday tonight!
It's at North X Place with the Gam Fam.
Skunky's here. We summoned Skunky. There's just so many lovely folks here. So many lovely folks here. Thank you, everybody, for that. Adders. I'm going to get it. I'm going to figure it out. Put the pronunciation in the chat so I can see it later. We got a line. Skippa from Try the Force. Try, my gosh. Let's freaking... No, not there. I want it here. Gosh, hopes and dreams. That was so good. Thank you so much. Try time. Skipping the line.
underwear.
Man, Jay, yeah, totally. It does keep evolving wonderfully. RTV, I'm so sorry. It filled up so fast today. Maybe record time. Maybe record time. Harumph. Retro, it's great to see you here, though, bud. Welcome back. Welcome in. We're having a real good time. We're having a real good time, and we're going to keep it going. Try, thank you so much for skipping the line and bringing that into our lives earlier. We're going to go to Shauna, Mouflon, and Andy. We haven't even gotten to the late boys yet. It felt like forever ago when I said that. I freaking love it here. Deshauna, thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday. Freaking love you guys. Deshauna time. Try, thank you again.
Nicotine addiction is no joke. You really need your support system.
Oh dear. Deshauna. Wait, hang on. Why did that happen? Let me make sure. I mean, we all know about Nicoderm now, so is that what it was? I'm not signed in? What? We'll get to that. That song was cool as hell. Alistair Lindsay. My goodness. Chilled Woodford Reserve on my porch at sunrise. I like that, Spices. That's fantastic. Tony, I appreciate the kind words. And yes, Retro, if we have the requests off, we can't add a new one, even if you wanted to skip the line, but it sounds like Sweet Gentleman Jay is giving up his spot, which is absolutely delightful of you, Jay. My goodness. Look at the Gamley doing the teamwork. Brutal. Brutal. My gosh, Jay, thank you so much for doing that, you sweet, sweet beast. My gosh, Deshauna, that was a beast of a request. I loved that. Holy cow. We got Mouflon and Andy, the Moonlight Crew, and Jay, part of the Moonlight Crew, giving up his spot for Sweet Sweet RTV, which we will get to later this evening. My gosh. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thanks for being rad as heck. Moof! We can't get enough. Moof!
Where do you think you're going?
Watch out! Look! Listen!
What in the world is Sheep Raider? Looney Tunes Sheep Raider. Coming with something like that. I don't have any sheep sounds. Yet. We got an empty slot right here. I bet a sheep could go right there, straight from that game. Holy cow, drums are fun indeed, Mouflon. It certainly is, Turtle. It certainly is. Where are you? There you are. You're down there. We're gonna get to you. We're gonna get to you. Looks like you're gonna be an early second setter. Mouflon, thank you so much for being here, staying up super late. Super late. Love you, bud. Thank you so much for being here. Andy, thank you so much for being here. Are we doing the thing?
Hey, Meta, is energy conservation...
Hang on. Just let me sign in. Nope. That's not the one. That's not the one. Too distracted by all that nonsense. So good. Sorry about all that signing in shenanigans. I loved that. Ducks are next week. No pressure. I mean, it was just... Your chat was... They were wanting it. They were wanting it. Dinner's been consumed. For Dr. Steal Your Face. My gosh. Boy, let us keep going here. We have so many requests. This is wonderful. We got Adams, we got Bumble, and then we got Zanya. Let's keep it going. We're going to get at least through those. Maybe we'll get to Shadow, maybe not. We'll see what these requests hold. Andy, thank you so much for sticking around. Thanks for being rad as heck. Adams?
Where do you think you're going?
A good reminder for me to update the playlist of selects for already the Thanksgiving Gamely dinner, which will be here in just 7 months. It'll be here before we know it. My gosh, I freaking loved that, Adams. For those of you who aren't aware, if you look right down here in the game cam, my little stick here, see that right there? See that white thing right there? That's a pinball machine. I used to do pinball streams too, but I don't anymore. So I just keep it here. And Mike Aruba. Yes, they used to be a thing. Maybe one day they'll be a thing again. I doubt it, but you never know. Adams, thanks for, like, the best song of the century. Buy a pinball machine. Yeah, I would just put on I had like a camera on the board, or the play field, the score, camera on us. I did it with Mid-Century Meg. I did it with Midnight Mila a lot, too. And then we would just put on a video game soundtrack and just let it play. It is Grand Prix Retro! How in the world? You legend. You just a database of knowledge. There are photos of me in diapers playing that thing. You are a pinhead? My goodness. My goodness. Uh-oh, okay, potatoes, did we not get yours in? Well, I saw you put it in. I remember seeing it. We'll get it in. You'll close out this first set, sir. You surely will. We're going to go to Bumble and then Zanya, and then we'll have AK close us out in style. Adams, thank you for that. Holy crap. Bumble, thanks so much for being here, dude. It is great to see you. Let's go. AK was already here, then. Good to see you, though, bud. it wasn't a near perfect G Bel Air 3 minutes. Holy crap, that was so much fun, Bumble. So much fun, Bumble. Thank you so much. My gosh. LocoRoco. What an absolute treat. Where's that song been? Let's get more of those. Thank you so much, dude. Thank you for being here. I'm going to keep it moving right along here. Let's keep it moving right along here. Spiteful Frog, thank you so much for the gifty sub. Lefty, give Spiteful a big ol' thank you for that gifty sub. Zanya, let's keep this party going. My gosh. Can we get Taters in here after Zanya? I can just look up that, unless it's the song, I can just look it up. Whatever. Get that. Zanya.
Where do you think you're going?
I mean, these songs, dudes. These songs, dudes. My gosh, we got AK Potatoes and Shadow. My gosh. We know what we got potentially with taters.
Taters, potentially.
My goodness. Zanya, that was wonderful. Gyruss. I'm not sure how you say it, but it is delightful the entire way. What an absolute treat. Thank you so much. Taters, we're sorry that we missed your pick earlier. We're getting to it right now, though, young man. We're going to get to it right now. And then Shadow, yeah, I think you're going to close us out. Zanya, thank you for that.
Taters, let's go now, guys.
Taters, thank you so much for that. My goodness, what is...
It's always a treat, says. Every single time, says. Every single time, says.
Shadow, take us home. And then we got a second set that's stacked with just so many great tunes. I already know it. I already freaking know it. And we are definitely going to have to go Let's Talk More Rock during that. Let's Talk More Rock right now. Taters, thank you for that. Sorry for the mix-up. We just keep mixing up the taters. Gosh, I swear we freaking love you guys. And we freaking love Shadow. Andy, thank you for being here. Head to bed and sleep well, young man. My goodness, Shadow, thank you so much for closing out this first set that way. I'm going to take as quick of a break as I can. Shadow, I freaking loved that, man. When it just, anytime there's a metal song that's like, you know, and then, as long as they have a, it just really seals the deal for me. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for being here. What a ding-dang first set indeed on a Wednesday, guys. We're going to keep it moving in the second set here because I am already running out of time. You know, kind of, but also kind of. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Shadow, thanks for closing us out that way. Everybody sticking around, thank you for sticking around. I believe it's Turtle who's kicking off the second set. It's so dangerous. What a classic. Turtle, kick us off properly. Kick us off properly, Turtle!
Where do you think you're going?
It's dangerous!
Hello, dears! GSB, the gnarliest of sea basses, all of these deers coming in right now. We are going to keep this party going because the party is here right now. Turtle Wax, thank you so much. I'll tell you what that was. Thank you so much, Turtle. My goodness, let's keep this party going with Vigo the Carpathian. Turtle, my goodness, thank you so much. GSB, thank you so much for the raid. My goodness, it's Vigo! Great! Oh, great! Oh, great! Two of them!
I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph. Harumph!
You watch your ass.
Vigo. Durr. Holy smokes, I freaking love that. I try my best to keep up with them. With him. It's him. It's one freaking dude. Harumph! Harumph! Larry, I'm so sorry I threw off your schedule. We are still on a Wednesday. It is great to see you. Let's keep this party going because I got a lot of awesome requests to get through. Thank goodness. We got Jet, and then we got Tony, and then we got Zero. What a trifecta. Jet, thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you for being here. Oh, Vigo, that just killed me in the best way. Yee-ha-ha. That rules. Sheesh. Whew. Holy cow. I freaking loved that. Good. Thank you. Spiteful was like, oh no, we're like right there. Unless you really like had to go, but my gosh. Caldane, you saying beat that drum like it stole your shoes tickled me. Tickled me. That's actually better, Jet. Have your phone die. You don't need that. You don't need that. My goodness. Where did those shoes go? Where did the time go? We're getting to Tony, and then we're getting to Zero, and then Spiteful. Spiteful, you're right there. We're going to get to you, bud. We're going to do it. Tony, let's do this. The Tony and Jet duo, a 1-2 punch. That is just an absolute treat. Thank you for being here, the both of you. It's a G Bel Air, but and what a weird way. Like, I couldn't get the time of it because it starts just on that bass note and then I couldn't latch onto it. Holy smokes, that is so freaking cool, Tony. Thank you. My goodness, let's keep this party going. It's all settling in, guys. It's all settling in. We got Zero, we got Spiteful, we got Emil. Zero, thank you so much for being here. Tony, thank you so much for being here. Everybody, thank you so much for being here.
Where do you think you're going?
There are just some things that you can listen to over and over and over, and you can be a drummer and pretend like you're an actually good drummer, but you hear something like this and you still can't pick out the timing of it. What an all-timer video game drum fill. Just absolutely legendary. My goodness. Zero, thank you so much for that. What an absolute treat. Spark Mandrill. Every single time. Big time, yes. Speaking of big time, yes, it's Spiteful Frog without even having to skip the line. Oh my gosh, look at this. It wants me to play... Is it Echo Marches? It wants me to play Echo Marches. We'll see what happens at the end of the stream. Whew. My gosh. Zero, thank you for that. Spiteful, thank you for this. Spiteful, what a cool tune. There's Mama Rob. Oh, my freaking goodness. Spiteful, thank you so much for that. What an absolute treat. What a boogie. We got Resident Emil, and then we got Xance, and then we got Tiber. Let's keep this party going. Emil, where in the ding-dang heck are we going on this Wednesday evening? I say it every time. It needs to go over on the board. Did you guys remember that?
I'm a man! I'm 40!
Theme confirmed, Moof. So many kinds of beers tonight. And now, Awakening. You a madman. I'm so glad you're still hanging out here. Incredibly selfishly. Whew. Holy cow. Emil, thank you so much for that. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We got Xance up next. Xance earlier today in Turtle's stream said that Xance had a banger. So, der. I'm not going to be able to play right now. What in the world is going on in that? There's like an 8th note jump in the middle of those super synchronized sections. I would love to learn that, and the fact that I'm listening to it in mono, too, also just makes it sound muddy as hell. Xance, I apologize. I apologize.
Get used to disappointment.
Oops.
Whew. You broke me. You broke me. I'd love to get familiar with that one, though. I appreciate you bringing it. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's okay. It's a rough one. It was. I mean, like, I just need to buckle down and listen to that thing. That is, I mean, all those synchronized parts were awesome. Oh, Spiteful, don't worry. Don't worry about it at all. It goes up and down the whole time. I just couldn't keep up with that song because I'm not talented enough. Let us keep it going. We got Tiber and we got Retrofile and we got Rocks. Holy crap, Rocks, are you still freaking here? Xance, thank you so much for that. I apologize for totally butchering it. I feel like it's not very often I butcher a tune, but there was one. We had to have it in the first stream of the 6th year. 6th year. Tiber. Big drum brains. With our powers combined. Ooh. I mean, Tiber, thank you for bringing that freaking incredible tune and bringing it with a perfect G Bel Air 3 whole minutes. Come on now. What a perfect combo. Tiber, thank you so much. That absolutely ruled. Absolutely ruled. Speaking of absolutely rules, it's Retrophile TV. Television. Tiber, thank you for that. RTV, let's go right now! Got my drum set intact. Let's do it again.
We're just normal men.
What do you mean, normal men?
We're just innocent men.
Retro, I mean, what in the freaking world? That was so fun. Holy cow. There's so many songs tonight that I want to keep getting familiar with. Well, hang on. We got to, there's more, but just want to make sure. Okay, it really is nothing. I just want to make sure there wasn't some, like, tag on it that I wasn't aware of. RTV, thank you so much. Jay, thank you so much for giving up your spot so that we could get that in there tonight because, boy, my goodness. What a cool-ass tune, Retrophile. Thank you so much for bringing that. Rox, if you're still hanging, bud, thanks so much for bringing this. Oh, no.
for your home in 1995, only on Nintendo Ultra 64.
That's not true.
Killer Instinct.
What is up? Tea time! Tea time, you've inspired me. Stick around if you can.
Super Combo! Brutal Combo! Master Combo! Awesome Combo! Blaster Combo! Monster Combo! King Combo!
Rox, thank you so much, buddy. We're going to keep it moving. We got 2 more. We got KB and then Doc and then Tea Time. Yeah, I mean, I was going to close out with something else, but now, after that 1-2 combo of Rox and Tea Time, we're going to have a little fun in a little bit. One of my favorite things ever, and it does involve the Killer Cuts disc because, my gosh, that thing literally changed my life. Roxy, thank you for that. KB, thank you so much for this. Sweet Gust.
Where do you think you're going?
Oh my gosh, sweet Gustavo. Thank you so much. Oh, Move, thank you for the 32 Lopez. KB, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. My goodness, what an absolute treat. I hope Gust is doing well. Gust, if you see this, we love you, bud. Doc, take us home before we get to our tea time treat. Thank you so much for that, KB. Doc, thank you for this. We might just have to listen to this one, Doc. Number 21 in my top 50 indie games of all time. Doctor, I'm so glad you played it. Doctor, thank you so much for that. My goodness, what an absolute treat. And what a wonderful reflection on this evening. Thank you, everybody, for being here. You do think you would rank Grease higher. Of course, well, the art is more impactful in that one, but I like games where you can hit things.
want to hit him. I want to hit him harder. I want to hit him. Hit things. Hit things.
I freaking love that. Tea time? Thank you for this inspiration. This is going to be a 1-2 punch because, Doc, thank you for that. I was hoping that it was going to be the playlist that I pulled it from and not just actually cut off there, so it would actually just go straight into this song. Because, Durr. Nonsense. Yes, bud. Welcome in, dude.
Supreme victory.
And sometimes you forget exactly how many hits there are at the end for just a little bit of
humiliation
thrown in there. We gotta keep it honest, guys. We gotta keep it honest. I love you all. Necro. Mouflon, you have stayed up all night and now you're on tram? Moof. I am so very grateful. My goodness, thank you so much for sticking around. What have you done? What have you done? I hope you have a sleepy weekend. I hope everybody has a sleepy weekend, a wonderful weekend, or a productive weekend, whatever kind of weekend you need or you hope to get. I hope every single one of you gets it. Get the weekend you want this weekend. Tomorrow's Thursday. Usually I'm doing this on Thursday, so I'm like, Friday's tomorrow, guys. But we're going to call Thursday part of the weekend this week. A bank holiday here today. Yes. Do we get a stream tomorrow too? Unfortunately not, Turtle. Unfortunately not. But I'm so incredibly grateful that you all shifted your schedules to be here on a Wednesday. An absolute treat. Zero, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everybody, for freaking being here. Let's go see if there's somebody we can go hang out with. Of course there is. But let's see who or whom. Thank you, everybody, for the follows and the biddies and the subs and the gift subs. There was just a whole lot of really delightful things happening this evening, and I appreciate each and every one of you for spending any amount of time here, as always. Come on. Come on! What? He's gonna try to leave, but I'm not gonna let him. Leflo is streaming right now. Let's go get him. Let's go get that cutie. We're going right now. Yeah, thank you, Ostaxia. That's perfect. I should be more observant. I'm just not after all this time. Shadow, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. And Turtle and Moof and Larry. My gosh, Larry, you're still hanging out too. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. First stream down of the 6th year. We're going to have a lot of fun in the next year, and then hopefully more after that. We'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell. Zanya, thank you so much for being here. Zanya, I watched the Season 2 announcement video today for Playdate for the first time, and it looks like it's pretty good. Pretty good. I might have to do that Season 2 Saturdays, and then turn it into Season 1 Saturdays, because I didn't play all of those games. Time will tell. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Go give Leflo big smooches because what a cutie. Love you guys. Bye.